I need help, so grandson Joe, if somebody in here doesn't know, he was named after Joe Matthews.
Here, here.
By his mother.
By his mother, Sarah, who used to drink coffee.
How does he feel about that?
And Lily, our next door neighbor, we need to have up here, come up here, Lily. Show them Fifth City. This is where the rubber hits the road, and this is always our basic for us all.
Got it.
Okay? And if you would, get Bending History, read page 194, starts there, and you can listen to Joe's voice come through to talk to you about Fifth City. Our first sessions were about Wesley Seminary and their programs, and then about the work that was being done in Washington, D.C. And Lindsay Buss, who's not here now, but Daddy Buss could be very proud of Lindsay. I don't know if you know about Martha's table, but it relates to about 1,000 different agencies in the Washington, D.C. area, and serves meals and feeds the homeless, et cetera, et cetera. Now, some of the Fifth City folks raised real serious issues to Wesley and to the church about service versus community reformulation. We still need to promote that there's a big difference between community development and community reformulation. And it was real interesting around the table here as we began to, we were going to start off with Fifth City, but we wound up with it this morning. That this Fifth City model didn't come out of somebody's head or a research team that went into a community and put things down that they reflected upon, but it came out of the guts of people like Leila Mosley and Lily Fox and Ray Fox and Burdell and Stanley and Helen and all of these people. It came out of life. And we reviewed something that might help us to review this morning. What are the 5 principles of Fifth City?
Limited geography.
Delimited geography.
All the people.
Okay. And there's a lot of stuff that needs to go into that to understand that it's not just drawing lines down on a map, but it's finding out what that organic community is that functions. And then the second one was what?
All the problems.
And how do you do that?
All the time.
You ask them.
Involve all the people. And you build a comprehensive model that functions with everything all of the time rather than working on this little piece and that little piece and that little piece. You get the dynamic going there. Okay? The third thing.
All the people.
And you work with all the people. And I keep reminding people, my first assignment in Fifth City was to work with Bernard Higginbottom. Anybody know who Bernard Higginbottom was? Do you know his title? Do you remember his title?
No.
Well, he was the head of the United Vice Board.
He was the executioner on the west side of the unknown vice lord. And George West told me that sometime after I got
Trust your colleagues.
And he was a great human being. He was a great human being. I'm glad I found him out before I found out his title. Because he was something else. Okay. What is the fourth one?
Depth human problem.
What's that all about?
We're going to let you explain.
Creates the reality.
Helen was laying that out for us earlier about the N-word and what it did to people, and about the change that occurs when people begin to get a handle that they're not a victim. To get to the extended one, we were in the Philippines. I told the story just a minute ago, We were in the Philippines in a village of people who had been dug out from the Manila by bayonets, put on trucks and taken out to where they had dug holes for toilets and posited there as part of their urban renewal program. And they were dying of AIDS and TB, etc. And some of the people that knew about his city and about the work of the Institute had asked us to come out there and see what we could do. In fact, the lady who rode out on the bus with me for the first time and took me and showed me the place after it was all over, and she asked me when I was going to deal with contradictions, and I said, what was this about? And she had been a member of the house in Manila, unbeknownst to me. But anyway, when we got into the section on contradictions, which was a hot afternoon in the tropics, finally Renita Balboa, who was kind of the Leela Mosley of the group, got up and said, you know why we don't activate our vision is because we look down upon ourselves, because we are those people that were tossed off of the streets of Manila. And you know, they booed her and they were going to throw her out and do all kinds of things. Finally that night, they finally decided that she was right. And after that, that place was transformed. And you won't believe, you wouldn't believe the place today. Victim image. Okay, the fifth one was?
Symbol is the key.
Symbol is key. And what's that about?
Singing.
Singing. Anything else?
The Iron Man.
All right. Anything else?
Drawing the grid.
Ritual.
Reminders.
What was one of the key things that we learned at the preschool?
Food is good, right?
Right!
Life is good, right?
Right!
All is good, right?
Right!
What do you say?
It's okay!
What do you say?
It's okay!
What do you say?
It's
Black
okay.
is beautiful.
I'm the
all those
only
things.
one like me.
Okay.
I'm the greatest, can you see?
I will be the great one I am. I will be the one I can.
Thank God for Ruth Martin. Charlie Stewart. And you see, this all came out of this life here and the life of those people there. This is something of a living symbol, you see. Now, Lily, I'll put you on the spot.
You knew it was coming.
Tell
I
them.
think it was really a great exercise that we did go back to see really what initiated us, because when Miss Henderson that came with us, she didn't know all of that good stuff. And so for Riddell and I, we had to rehearse and bring it back to our remembrance. And I think now that we can, we're still in need of this city. I think now with what we've gone back with, I think we can take this back to our board and try to revision and relive and, you know, put a little more life into what we're doing. And if we go back over our practice, our original things, I think it'll propel us into the future, which is what I think is what we needed right now. We have to look back before we go forward. And I think
Sankofa.
that's right. And you know, Bill, who's on our team, he's saying that, I mean, it's just really, Bill, stand up a minute and just say what that brought back to you, what that helped you with.
Personally, I've been wandering in the wilderness for 40 years. I've just come back.
Okay.
But I'm part of a little church in Chino United Methodist Church in Chino, California, that has many of the problems, not exact, but many of the problems. And, you know, the challenge is all of a sudden, you remember and you meet the people, the spirit, you say, you know what you got to do? All right, you know what to do. You know, Paul says, Jesus, you know what to do.
Yeah.
Get off your, you know what,
Yeah.
and go do it.
Yeah.
So, it's been very good.
So I just want to charge everybody to do the same thing. Really. Soul searching, as we're going to do, and then take it wherever you are and rebuild from that.
Good.